Hello, friends. This is Manoj Agrawal. I'm the group editor at Banking Frontiers, a magazine that is more than 24 years old now. We have now started a session, a web series called Digital Wisdom. Wisdom, we all know how valuable it is. Digital wisdom is the shadow of that, is the footprint of that in the digital space. And in this series, we talk to CXOs, CIOs, CTOs, the digital experts in the industry from banks and financial institutions to understand their evolution in the digital space and to understand how the whole ecosystem and the organizations are evolving. Today, I have with me Mr. Abijit Bhattacharjee. He is the Chief Information Officer at Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. So, Abijit, welcome to the show. So, Abhijit, I understand from your background that you have worked mostly in banks and mostly in the IT function. Could you share some of the highlights of your previous experiences that have helped you become the person that you are, the leader that you are today, leading an organization, leading a challenging organization like a bank, which has so many multiple roles and objectives to help uplift society?
Yeah, thanks for acknowledging this challenging role to be a bank CIO. I work entirely in my career in banking industry per se, but fortunately, I have worked into various facade of banking. Facade in a sense, I worked in technology roles, I worked in pure business role while the numbers were critical. I worked in operation process roles. So when you see all the sides of the banking, and even I have worked in front ends as a sales, I have worked in the branch operations. So it gives you a holistic view of how a banking works. Overall overarching things, and that actually helps me out when you do that. Sit on the top and try to take a decision, and that decision will impact the customers, the decision will impact the bank employees, the decision will impact the people who is under me, and as well as the overall the policy and the macroeconomic aspect. So that obviously gives an advantage. Banking and the banking experience, what I have gathered. So I can tell you, I have moved from a support function to a business enabler, and from there now differentiated in the business. So that's how the journey is. In my early days, when you are younger than currently what you are, the early part of the career, obviously dominated by the old school COBOL programs and Y2Ks of the world. And then it moved to early 2000, which the core banking took us center stage. So obviously, the core banking is a part of the thing which came in the banking parlance at that point of time. And obviously, I'm fortunate to be a part of the initial core banking projects in the Indian banking history. Also fortunate to be part of the entire digital channels journey from the very beginning.
Okay.
So I was instrumental to set up internet, mobile channels for retail and corporate for large Indian public sector banks at the very, very early part of the career.
Okay.
And which actually shaped my entire process. Post that, I have done a lot of activities on multinational banks. So obviously, to have a experience from an Indian public sector bank to a multinational bank in a different kind of setup, more process driven, look into the minute things, the governance led. Work in a very, very different sort of a challenge. Working patterns are very, very different. The way MNC bank work and the way Indian private sector bank work is very different.
You're right.
There is a India angle, there is a regional angle, there is a international angle, because that's how the hierarchy works. From there back to again Indian private sector bank. The reason I moved back to again private sector bank space, because I could sense at that point of time India is leaping forward, jump and the leapfrogging towards the new digital innovations and so on. So I was lucky to be part of those. One of the initial startup I have worked on API banking and open banking, as early as 2015-16, and when the API was not a household name at that point of time.
Right.
But more than the technology, I think the more important thing is I was able to deliver business value out of it. So we actually got businesses, driving those API technologies. Then came to the customer centricity, getting your mobile as a channel, as a full-fledged channel who can replace a bank. And that concept started from 17, 18. And successfully implemented a mobile banking app, which has a, app store rating of 4.5 and above.
Nice.
These experiences define you and you as a person.
For holistic learning, different
Pieces
all coming together.
Coming together.
Interesting.
Current role, Utkarsh gives a very, very different challenge. The most important part is I'm in a position on which I can actually make a difference. I can make the things betterment of the organization and look the thing much more holistically. So
Right.
that's how it works.
Very interesting. Banking is an industry where there are a lot of things you cannot do, the controls. There are a lot of things that you have to do that are difficult, that are challenges. People who are a different kind of people. Bankers are not your normal traders or businessmen and employees. They're just a different kind of people. So between controls, business processes, and people, what made the biggest impact on you?
Biggest impact in my work, whatever.
In you as you are in the position, where did you learn most from? From people, from the controls, or from the outputs that were required?
Yeah, look, you essentially learn from people. This is my belief, which I keep on telling my children as well. Every day you need to learn. If you don't learn, you will not grow as a person. You will not grow in your professional or personal life. And learning can come from anybody. It can come from the the lowest man and the bottom of the chain and to the highest man. So so learning is always come from the people. But in terms of the constraint, what you spoke about, it is, if you feel it is a constraint, it is a constraint. If you feel it is a part of the process, it is a part of a process.
Okay.
Since when the bank has started, RBI has given us a license and they have a right to become a supervisor. If you look into the entire Indian post-independent financial history, RBI has taken the things forward. There is practically no instance and RBI has taken things backward. And when RBI is putting up a certain constraint and a certain regulation, there is a much larger global macroeconomical sense to it. Now you have to accept it. Look, what the banking is for. Banking is in a business of managing risk. So that's the core business of a bank. Bank is correct, because I'm taking some people else's money and I'm investing somewhere else. Taking somebody else's money and managing the risk of that deployment of the money, you have to be a little different than others. And once you start working with them, you realize the kind of rule set they work on, and you find perfect sense on the rule set how this need to be taken. Right. Things have changed obviously in last 5 years, but the basic rules always remains the same. It really doesn't. Fundamentals are always the same.
So do you think this whole system of not doing certain things for the greater good applies in professional life? Does that help you become a better leader by kind of regulating yourself?
Point is, I want to quote one of my seniors. He taught me, Abijit, you can fail once. I will allow you to happen. But I will not allow you to fail more than once for the same reason. You can fail for different reason, but not for the same reason. So learning from the mistake is a part of the job.
Right.
But that does not mean banks has not innovated. Large banks, small banks, all banks are innovated within that framework. I do a certain things which actually put the bank or the entire industry as a loss, which is obviously not good. So I'm okay with the framework, and whether just being a part of banking, it is imbibed on me or not, that I don't know. But I think when you are dealing with other people's money, some kind of constraint is always good.
Okay, that's good. How you're doing it differently based on the lessons you have learned in banking, in profession?
Utkarsh, any assignment is challenging, but give me a very unique position to do certain activities which probably I hadn't got a chance to work in my career earlier. Okay. So when I joined Utkarsh at that point of time around 6-7 years old already. Okay. And at that point of time, Utkarsh started their journey. We got a small finance license. 2013-14, the small finance journey licenses came, and within a 1.5 years time, every bank have to start their own operation. And at that point of time, Utkarsh was a microfinance MF. And from there to transform into a bank, it required a lot of technology maturity, investment, and a lot of other activities as well. And Utkarsh, similar like a lot of other small finance bank at that point of time in the industry, get into a bank in a box of a stuff. So they practically outsource the entire technology to somebody else.
Right.
And that organization got the software, got the hardware, got the people, and run the technology for it. That was a very good decision at that point of time, because the bank has to start, it needed a quick and agile start, and that's the reason it was very, very critical. But what happened once the bank started becoming a little bigger, the product variant started grow up, the requirements started changing, the regulatory requirements pouncing in. Banks started realizing, okay, look, we have to have a more muscle of ourselves, okay, and you have to be more agile. You have to be, the scalability and reliability will become more and more key.
Right.
So when I joined Utkarsh, my sole guideline what has been given to me, you have to become stand on your own. Currently, you are dependent on so many people. You have to stand on your own. In my entire infrastructure side or in application side, we are somewhere around 85-15 sort of a. Say 85 is managed by outsourcer and 15 is to manage by A.
Okay.
So from there, in last 3 years, I am in the bank. Currently now I am in 40-60. 40 managed by outside and 60 managed by us. If things goes well, I will move somewhere around 20-80 level, while 80 will be controlled by us and 20. It is just to creating your own muscle, creating your own intelligence, and invest in right areas. There are certain things I can't do. Now it is very important for a success to know what you can't do. And if you can define what you can't do, then your majority of the problem gets solved. So we have made a very step-by-step detailed analysis and so on and so forth to see where to invest and where not to invest. Any business rule changes which will define the immediate requirement and so on and so forth, that I should control.
Right.
Any customer experience level changes, I should control. While the base, changing the risk and the risk model, these are the more base and fundamental ones. That probably I'll going to get outsiders who have maybe having a knowledge and having a time and the technology, big technology stack to do that stuff. When we started this journey, it is not only insourcing everything, it has a much more business sense as well. And if you actually don't adapt the business value along with the journey, what you are going to make, this entire thing will fall down. So
It won't make sense.
It will not make sense. 2.5 year back, we created a transformation blueprint. What I created, and along with one of the big fours, is does not consist technology, and that what I brought my entire experience in. So the transformation blueprint has a technology blueprint, depending on the application and infrastructure. It has a blueprint of the product and services, and it has a blueprint of the processes. So it is technology, product, and process, and that's why the blueprint in entirely too, and that is what we focus on a whole together manner. There is a fourth leg to it, which is a data, which obviously was a base, and which we are working in tandem in parallel, which obviously we are seeing the maturity and everything is coming up. So the opportunity of doing a holistic transformation, and that is what the Utkarsh given me.
That sounds interesting. So let me take the analogy of going to since you talked about muscle building. What kind of muscles did you build for the bank?
When we started the journey, we had decided, as I said it earlier, where to invest and where not to invest. And we are very clear of why are you going to go outside and why are you not going to go outside. We made a list of activities, what we need to do on both application side and as well as in the infra side. In the process side, what we decided, we're going to completely re-engineer the process. Because the philosophy goes like this: you want to change a process and get a 2x improvement. Rather you reimagine the process, you get a 10x improvement. Okay. But the effort of doing the change and the reimagination is mostly the same. So why don't attempt for 10x? So that's point number one. So that's one set of a muscle building. Number two, on the product, we decided these are the product we can work on and these are the product we cannot work on, and we decided not to invest on that, and we actually decided to drop those products. So this is on the process side and the product side.
The bank actually dropped some products.
Yeah, we decided to drop some products. To give an example, the initial thought was we get into the cash management as a service, but we never entered that business. But though we decided, there was a lot of the business case push and pull on that, but we realized cash management as a service will become a big boys game. It may not be a game for mass for the long term. Now coming back to the technology per se, we are investing very, very heavily on the front-end technologies. We are investing very, very heavily on the APIs, and we are also investing in very, very heavily on my acquisition journeys as well as my some kind of a service journeys. To give an example, in last 1.5 years, we have three major line of business: retail, Microfinance, retail has two parts, retail liabilities and retail assets. These are two. And third is the microfinance. The acquisition journeys for all three businesses, we have completely digitized in last, 1.5 to 2 years. There are few TTBTs things are here and there hasn't been done, but that will going to happen shortly. And also we have realized as a bank, we cannot grow on only with us. We need partners. And obviously, fintech and the fintech partnership is something is very very essential currently. You need to know which fintech partner to choose and how you need to go.
Right.
And when you get into this kind of guys, the fintech partner, the first thing they come and ask you is whether you have agile or not. And if you are not agile, they will not work with you. It is as simple as that. We started to decide which are the items we are going to bring it out from the code and create on our own, and as well as how we're going to take the APIs out. So currently, all the APIs changes and everything today we do in the bank, it's all in-house. So we have an in-house team who basically does it. Third, we focus a lot on the multiple workflow systems and workflows are the key of how the banking and the processes work. So we need workflow for internal processes. You need workflow for the external discussion what you are doing. Now we invested very wisely in few of the code platforms. We created our team inside and which use them to create these journeys all across. For the low code journeys I am talking about, this take care of my internal processes and so on.
Okay.
The last one is, and which is very very critical for us, all my team members, starting from the people who are reporting to me or to the guys down below, everybody will try to give a automation carry. Everybody have to see how their work, their process, even if it's a small TBT, that process can be automized or not automized. We do automation for our operation team. Every month, at least 5 to 6 processes you automate and try to manual process move to a RPA sort of stuff.
Okay.
But also we try to promote our guys to see whatever the daily operations job we are doing, write a small Python code and try to make that automation stuff.
Oh.
So these are the 4 items what broadly we are working on. We are currently midst of changing our core banking platform and also our data platform. And we expect this process of muscle building will follow along with all these activities. Sorry.
That's interesting. Coming to muscle building, one very prominent muscle that is talked about today is AI. Whether someone goes to the gym or not, that AI muscle everyone wants to build. What is your take on AI for bank of your size in general? What is your approach to making it happen?
I was just wondering when the elephant in the room will appear.
It's appeared.
So it appeared. So yeah, my view on API is very clear. So
I love responsible AI.
I love responsible AI. What I believe, currently the AI and what are the activities has happened. I am talking purely not from a research perspective. I am talking purely from a practitioner's perspective. I am the one, this is a new technology is there, new tool is there. I have to see what I can use it for. What I can see AI today, it is a efficiency gainer from a personal level. Me as a person, if we started doing AI, the work, my official and the personal work, what I used to do it in 10 hours, I can actually do it in 2 hours.
Right.
And actually I can do it. And I have to know how to use those tools, but actually I can do it. So what is happening in this case, my productivity is gaining. Now you multiply that productivity across my department multiply it or to the organization or to the industry as a whole or it has a much more macroeconomic effect. That's what AI is going to bring in. Your macroeconomic growth will going to grow substantially up because of the AI is helping individuals to improve their efficiency level. And today it is individual, tomorrow it will be a group of individual, tomorrow it will be a platform. And that is how I see the innovation comes up. In terms of actually making an impact on a customer-facing application, I still think there is a long way to go. And for a bank where we are in a business of managing the risk, we'll be a little cautious. Though it's not, we haven't started using it. We had started using it. We are using generative AI for my collection calls. Okay. And the places we operate, we need vernacular stuff. So I do collections call on Hindi through AI chatbot agent.
Okay.
But I am doing it in a very controlled manner, and I am ensuring I do only up to the point. I keep a watch on it. I don't allow it to go it as it is.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the more uses of AI will going to come on the internal processes, and that's what I started saying. Okay, what you do is actually going to make a difference. To give
Okay.
two example on the internal processes, what we are looking for. I just mentioned we are amidst of a CBS migration.
Migration.
What I'm trying to do, if I can actually shorten my entire testing cycle, if I can actually shorten my entire report. Look, please understand, I'm getting into a new CBS. There are certain kind of regulatory and other reports I need to generate. In last 8-9 years, bank has generated X number of reports. Now I have to migrate all the reports to a new system. Correct.
Right.
It sounds a humongous job, but there are a lot of repetition on it, and I believe it's a fantastic use case to preempt and generate those report up to a level, and then do the tweaking. So it substantially reduce the number of people and as well as time required to bring it down. CBS testing is not something I'm going to do it first time. There is a lot of enough knowledge enough in the market.
Yeah.
So
Software
why
testing is such a huge industry.
such a huge industry per se? So that means there are already a knowledge in the market,
Mhm.
and I refuse to believe a portion of it. I really cannot preempt what are the kind of changes or testing we need to do. And also, I believe we should be able to automate and test it faster. Strengthening your muscle is something what I'm looking AI for, and that is what I think it has right now. It has much more uses than more outer layer. So that is
Okay. Just to dive a little deeper into the software testing part of it, are you planning to use AI tools to do the testing, or you plan to develop some internal way of using AI to do the testing, or something else? How do you see this?
If you look into testing automation per se, testing automation tool is a pretty old technology. There are multiple AIs available in the market. What we are trying to get AI for is to sort of create the test scenarios on the fly. That is what I think it has much more meaningful. So you get a BRD, you run it through a AI agent, and it comes out with a test cases and scenarios.
Okay.
And even if it is 80% successful, it actually helps reduces my overall test case preparation time by 3 to 4x.
Okay.
So that is what I think we are looking for. And
And
given
is AI mature enough to do a good job?
no, so as I told you, I'm being conservative. I'm saying I'm expecting he's going to do 80% right. He is not good. So in the day, some human is going to ensure those checks and balances are done. But if I tell the human to write the test cases from the scratch, and I give him a 80% ready book and tell him to do only the tuning of it, then it is a much smaller job for that person who actually finalizing the test cases and scenarios. So
So the
that job.
basic work is getting
Correct.
automated.
So suppose if I tell somebody, a group of guys, to write 500 or 1,000 test cases, they will usually ask me 3 to 4 weeks. And with
Got
this, I can actually tell them to do it in 3 to 4 days, and which is actually possible. And
Got it.
we have done certain bits and pieces on that, and it is a very, very positive result
Okay.
in our opinion.
Going back to the very first thing that you started with is reducing the dependence on vendors. My guess is that when you do that, you have to have more qualitative partners, because the 20 or 30 or 40% that they are handling in today's competitive environment, they have to do a much better job and to support the bank that is running on its own legs. In what way engagement with the key technology partners changed from being a vendor to being a partner, maybe? In what way are they more part of the banking thinking, and rather than just being, I'm a technology provider? So, both IT guys and fintechs, how do you see them as getting more qualitatively engaged with the way the bank is evolving?
It is to be frank, it's a little chicken and egg story. In a sense, every partner will come and say, okay, I am your partner, not your vendor. And every bank expect you become a partner, not a vendor. But in reality, things fall off. Okay, things doesn't go hand by hand. I think two things from both sides we need to think. From the bank side, I think we need to consider any deal you are doing with your partner have to be a win-win deal. End of the day, they are also in a business of making money, correct?
Correct.
And if they don't win, they will not win it for you. Because a lot of time I'm seeing people are treating your vendors as vendors, not partner, and expecting them to be a partner, which is incorrect in my opinion. So first you need to understand how the win-win works, and win-win works not from you but from the other side. And from that, I think you as a person need to spend a lot of time to understand their business process, their business model, how their entire commercial works. And I was lucky to spend both friends and as well as others, lucky to spend a lot of time with them to understand what excites them. If I make them excited, they'll work for me. It's as simple as that.
Oh,
You know, treat them as your own extended staff. And second, from the other side, what I generally look for, and generally it works, if a person who comes from a pure technology background and try to become your partner or a vendor, sometime it falls. I'm not saying this is a general thumb rule,
good.
but I seen 5 out of 10 time it fails. But if you find there is a guy who has spent time on your industry and actually moved and worked over there, then you feel that this guy has certain to understand the both side of the story. So these are small things. Again, there is nothing right or wrong about it, but that is how it works. But end of the day, the relationship is very critical. I need to understand one thing. I'm not running a software company. I am running a bank which is running a critical functions, and I am dependent on these guys. So on the day of the crisis, these guys need to stand for me. If you don't stand for me, the organization will be impactful. And if the organization is impactful, then it is a bad for the reputation and so on. The maintaining the relationship and maintaining the balance between that is very, very important, both for survival of the organization and as well as the team as a whole.
Right. So the takeaway for me from that is it's not the day-to-day operations where the relationship matters. When there is a stress point, maybe some external, something, even the regulation may have changed, demonetization happened, for example. That may be a time where the whole partner relationship would have been tested severely.
3 years we have signed multiple deals just to ensure the partnership and the muscle building, whatever activities are required. I tell whenever I would sign with somebody or I meet with the top guy before the sign, I'll say, okay, the success of this relationship will define after 1 year, we are meeting for a tea or we are meeting for a beer. And that defines the success criteria of this.
That's a very good way to put it. That's a very good way. Let's close on that as the new digital wisdom, if I may say. Whether the relationship continued over tea or over beer. Sounds good. Thank you, Abijit. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
So, friends, that was our discussion with Abijit Bhattacharjee on the frontiers of digital wisdom. Hope you liked it, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.